I really wasn't planning on doing back-to-back unboxings since I'm holding myself accountable to only doing 5 luxury unboxings this year. But guys, this is just how it goes, right? When it rains, it pours. Plus, this was kind of like for Valentine's Day, and I can't change when Valentine's Day is scheduled. So let's go ahead and knock out our second unboxing of 2025. This time, it's not a bag, but it is still one of the 5 luxury items on my original 5 for 2025 list. Also, if you missed my first luxury unboxing of 2025, I'll link it below, but it was my highly anticipated Hermes mini garden party. I still can't believe I managed to get my hands on this, and for such a steal relative to Hermes prices. So yes, go check out that video if you haven't already. And I'm a little sad to say I'm ready for my next one. Isn't that just about the dumbest thing you've ever heard? Like, this still hasn't even settled into my collection, and I want another already. But this video is not about the mini garden party. We're just gonna set her up here so we can just continue to admire her. But let's just get it together and get right into the video. Welcome or welcome back to your briefcase of luxury, where we love to chat about all things related to life, learning, and luxury. While I have no intentions of quitting my day job as a business professor, I would love to continue to grow this channel, so thank you for being here today. So clearly, our second unboxing for 2025 is from David Yurman. I bought this off the David Yurman website, and if you can recall, I only had one David Yurman piece that was on my list. So this is the 4mm cable flex bracelet in sterling silver with 14 karat yellow gold with the semi-precious stone rhodolite garnet. Now this currently retails for about $450, and for those of you who are curious, this is in the size extra small, which are for wrists measuring between 5 to 5.5 inches above the wrist bone, and just for reference, my wrist measures just shy of 5 inches. Again, I'm proud of myself for sticking to my wish list. We'll see if we can keep that up for the rest of the year, but yeah. This was one of the only new items on my wish list because I technically have a lot of rollover items from previous years, but I just fell in love with the idea of one day owning one of these after I got a chance to visit a David Yurman store for the very first time towards the end of last year. I tried on a bunch of bracelets, and yeah, I would highly recommend trying these on in person because these cable bracelets get really confusing. There's just so many variations in terms of the cable size, the type of material, the design, etc. For instance, this one here is the cable flex version. There's also the classic cable version that comes in the 4mm size that looks near identical, but it's not. Visually, you can see slight differences with like the heads of the bracelet, but fit-wise, the cable flex version, as the name implies, is more flexible than the classic version and is made of less woven strands, shall we say. So unsurprisingly, they do fit differently. And then of course, you got even more variations with diamonds and solid gold, etc. For me, I've always known that if I were to get something from David Yurman, I wanted some variation of the cable bracelet with the garnet stone. Again, just because I have a slight obsession with matchstick themed jewelry, but unfortunately, they didn't have any with the garnet stone in store the day that I went in my size. I believe they only had the extra small in the onyx for the cable flex, which onyx or lapis lazuli would have been my second choice. And for a split moment, I had just thought of getting the onyx one in store just because we were having such a good time. The client advisor who helped us was amazing. So I did honestly just think about getting the onyx one that day and maybe getting a garnet one later down the road, like a fancier upgraded one maybe in gold with diamonds. But like, I'm glad I didn't do that because that just showed me that even if I were to have gotten the onyx version, I still would have wanted a garnet version one day. But if I had the garnet version, I may or may not still want the onyx version. Does that make sense? By the way, this was part of our Valentine's Day exchange. We had set a budget for $500 each just because we have some pretty massive travel goals for later this year, and we just didn't want to get too crazy. It's just February, so I bought my husband a wax coat from some British brand that he's been eyeballing, and in exchange, well, honestly, this was the only thing on my list that fell under $500, and that's only if I went for the sterling silver version. And that's the other thing. Part of me can't figure out if I think the solid gold version is worth it. You know, like, would I like the solid gold version that much more than this one for the price difference? So rather than buy something else for $500 or wait to get the solid gold version later, I'm really, really happy with this decision. Now, the one thing that's kind of neither here nor there is that David Yurman is also found at other retailers like Bloomingdale's, Neiman Marcus, and Nordstrom, where I could have potentially earned store points or even credit card points. But unfortunately, no one seems to carry many variations of the extra small size. If at all. So again, rather than settling for another version just to earn points or whatever, I just decided to get what I wanted the most directly from the David Yurman website. And this was overnighted, by the way, which was awesome. By the way, let me know if I'm colorblind. This is meant to be red, but it's kind of, it looks really purple to me, doesn't it? Let me know if it's just me. But anyways, this is what it looks like. And this is just how you slide it on. It's pretty simple. Just like that. You don't really have to yank it or stretch it much if you slide it on sideways at the skinny part of your wrist, but this is snug. So you do want to make sure that when you're slipping it on, you're slipping it on the right way, depending on if you want the open cuff to be on the top or the bottom, just because it's not going to migrate on its own throughout the day. It's not impossible to twist it on, but it is kind of tight. So it's definitely not going to move on its own. Also, I do plan on wearing this on my watch wrist, and I think the mixed metal goes perfectly with my Cartier watch. Now, the thing is, I'm not someone who permanently leaves my jewelry on, so I will be taking this on and off throughout the day. I know one thing I've noticed on pre-loved pieces is that these can get warped over time, and that's just the nature of cuff bracelets. Now, I know David Yurman offers cleaning and maintenance, so I'm curious to know if they can help reshape these if they get really out of whack over time. Someone let me know if you know. Now, while the Hermes Mini Garden Party was my first unboxing, I technically didn't buy that with new money. That was funded by selling off my Dior mini book tote and a Chanel belt. This year, obviously, was bought with new money. Now, could I have funded this with selling off more stuff? Sure, especially if I wanted to buy it pre-loved from like Fashion File or The Real. However, my biggest pet peeve isn't so much the wear and tear, but the fact that they don't often list the sizing, and I can't tell based on their measurements what the size is and if it's going to be the right fit. Now, I tried on both the small and the extra small in store, and even though we're talking like half an inch difference or something like that, the comfort aspect of it was huge. But yeah, I didn't want to chance it not being the right size. Plus, it's not like you save that much going the pre-loved route. These are still going to run you over like $300, and at $450 brand new, I didn't mind buying it and having it come with the box and the cleaning cloth and all that good stuff. And honestly, that's really all I have for this video. I'll keep you posted on the wear and tear. And let me think what other jewelry pieces I had on my 2025 list. I believe the only other piece is either a Dior Rose Devant or Rose Celeste bracelet or necklace. Again, that has been constantly glossed over the past several years, but I'd still go as far as to say, I mean, not to hurt this little guy's feelings, but the Rose Devant line is probably still one of my favorite jewelry lines ever from any fashion or designer or jewelry house. Besides the fact that I still feel like it's slightly overpriced, maybe that's why I have so many necklaces and bracelets that dance around that design, like my necklace from Caitlin Minimalist that was for under $30 versus the actual Rose Devant necklace that would have been over $2,000, right? Or this other version that I picked up from Etsy as well. That's kind of like the Rose Celeste, but we'll see. We'll see if this is finally the year to knock that off the list once and for all so I can shut up about it. I think at the end of the day, I feel like I'm not naturally someone who gravitates towards huge chunky stacks of necklaces and bracelets. And honestly, even with what I currently have, I feel like it would be tacky to wear like all designer jewelry all at the same time, you know? Like right now, for the sake of this video, I currently have on all of my designer branded jewelry. And granted, it's not a lot, but it feels a lot when I'm wearing them all at once. So from the top, I know you can't really see, but I have my one and only costume piece of jewelry, and it's the Hermes ear cuff. And I still stand by this being the only costume jewelry piece I think is worth getting. I also only have two designer necklaces, my Hermes Farandole necklace and my Tiffany & Company Diamonds by the Yard necklace. And moving to my rings, I have a Cartier Trinity ring, and the Hermes Chandon silver ring. And I also have my Cartier rope bracelet, and finally my vintage Cartier watch, and now my newest David Yurman bracelet. And that's it. That's all the designer branded jewelry I own. And again, for most people, that's not a lot, but for me, wearing them all at once, it feels like a lot. Now, I can maybe see me opting for a Dior Rose Devant or Rose Celeste bracelet to add here. Maybe a ring. But guys, I don't know if I need any more after that. I know at one point I had wanted the Cartier Panthère ring, and maybe I don't know what finger that would go on, because I really do like how I wear these on my ring finger and on my middle finger. So maybe the Cartier Panthère ring here in the future, where we'll just have to see. But yeah, overall, I'm extremely happy with what I have, and I can't say I feel like my collection has any drastic holes. And it's not like I need a ring for each finger, right? Like, I think I'm happy, and I think we're good here. And I wish I could be that way with my handbags. Like, wouldn't life be so simple and so much more affordable? Now, if you have the David Yurman bracelet, let me know your thoughts on it. Is there anything I should know or be prepared for? Because I'm going to be honest, this is one wish list item I didn't do a whole lot of research on. I just tried it on in store towards the end of last year and fell in love. So let me know if I'm in for any surprises, both good or bad, in the long run. For instance, besides just warping the actual cuff part of the bracelet, like, will constantly taking it on and off ruin the actual stones on the tip? Like, I have no idea. And maybe I should have done a little bit more research. So please let me know down below, or in any case, I guess I'll just have to keep you posted here in a couple of months. So as always, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And I can't wait to catch up with you next time.